Today, I wanted to share with you what I think is a very special episode. It's easy to get distracted by the scope of a project. With all the pieces that have gone into this rebuild so far, sometimes it's good to take a step back. I wanted to give you an up-close look as to why I think the crew here at JR Marine are the best in the business. We're gonna follow the creation of one small component of the build from start to finish, just to show you how exceptional the quality of their work really is. Today, we're building the anchor locker. That's up next on Do It with Darryl. There are only 3 pieces required for the anchor box and another for the lid. This will be hinged on to cover the body of the box. Ryan starts the job at the CNC machine. There are many pieces nested and ready to be cut from this 20-foot sheet of aluminum. Most of these will be used for upcoming components in the project. Once the Sharpie has transferred the production details onto the aluminum plate, Ryan can switch to the cutting bit. When cutting this many profiles at once, it's good practice to add grommeted screws to hold the pieces in place. This ensures the registration positions are held throughout the process. Jared collects all the pieces needed for this job.
Yeah, just selecting the different dies. So 1/8, we tend to bend on number 2. There's number 1, 3, and 4. Like this one wasn't quite 90, so I can actually check the angle on this, and it was telling me it was 92. I tell the machine that it bet 92, and then it automatically corrects it to get 90, because it knows that's what we're trying to get to.
After a few adjustments to the press brake, he gets to work shaping the box.
This is going to be the body of the anchor locker. So yeah, the bottom, the front and back essentially. And these were the sides. So that's the shape that it's a piece that goes in with that.
Each new angle always requires a test bend using pieces of similar gauge scrap aluminum. This ensures perfect bends. In no time, Jared has the pieces bent to shape and it's into the shop for welding. After removing the protective coating of plastic wrap, he can wipe down the surfaces with lacquer thinner to remove any contaminants before welding. He also removes any sharp edges with a deburring tool. A quick test fit lets Jared see if any minor adjustments are required. These are typically handled with the grinder. Next, he tacks the box together before starting the final weld out. For this job, Jared will be using the TIG welder. He'll run a continuous fillet weld along all of the joints of the box. Watching this was like a masterclass in welding. He is such a pro. The welds are perfect. The next morning, I met Aiden and Ty over at JR's Bravo shop for the installation of the anchor box. When I got there, the guys were setting up for a few bends on their old hydraulic brake press.
I mean, I guess there is a certain thickness you're limited to on bending, but the tonnage is all manpower for the pressure you apply. But instead of bending at the point, you actually bend up the flange.
These pieces would later be used for the vertical storage dividers inside the cutty. So this is the new anchor box that's going in the bow of Dinghy 1 Kenobi. The plan is, this is actually, the tapered part is gonna be following this taper at the front, and the reason why it tapers up at the bottom is so that from the inside we can reach our air valves nice and smoothly to fill up the pontoons. So this will get placed right inside, and then the guys are gonna build this awesome hatch that comes in and closes the whole anchor box. That's what we're doing next. Let's go. To accommodate the sloping cutty roof and tapered angles, Aiden and Ty had to take extremely accurate measurements to ensure a correct fit. They really only had one shot at getting this right. So when you guys are measuring, are you measuring right to the edge?
Yeah.
Like this will stick in and the hatch will close on that piece? Well, I was excited to get this awesome new addition installed. I have to admit, it was a little unnerving to think of cutting through the roof of my cutty. So it's really hard to get this measurement correct because you don't know if the angles are actually perfect. What Aiden and Ty are doing is getting the measurements correct, and we're trying to add about 1/16 of an inch spacing around it for welding and production. After double and triple checking all of their measurements, Ty marks the exact cut lines directly onto the cutty. it was time to cut. Ty adds some blade wax to the skill saw before he begins. He uses a plunge cut technique and slowly lowers the spinning blade directly onto the cut lines. Ty makes it look easy, but it takes a lot of practice and you have to commit to the cut once you've started. After a few hair-raising minutes, the cut is finished. Wow, that was... Hi.
Hi.
That was sketchy, man.
There's a hole in your boat now. There we go. Don't need that anymore.
Using a grinder, he can tidy up the rough inside edges and adjust the corners to accommodate the diameter of the weld beads on the box. It was a perfect fit. With the help of Aiden, Ty can drop a few tack welds down to fix it into position. He'll do the final weld out once a few more other details are taken care of. Finally, Aiden grabs the last piece for this project, the lid, that will finish off the anchor locker. It's been bent to conform to the same angle as the top of the box. He places the two hinge assemblies flush with the surface of the cutty and tacks them into place. I'd say that the crew here did an amazing job on this anchor locker. This was a small, almost self-contained job within the context of a rebuild, but it's also an excellent example of the quality and attention to detail to be found here at JR Marine. I'm so glad you could join us, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next Saturday on another episode of Do It with Darryl.